Oops, forgot the throwing soon. Good morning. I could have slept a lot better. And we're working on this stuff. I have to deal with both of these. I'm really doing anything else right now. So we have this sort of work. This program keeps getting bigger and bigger, which I don't like, but I don't have the right abstractions right now. So we could do an object somewhere down in here that handles the merge. This loop is handling the file copying, though, which is why I think I might want to leave it up here. I could do a dedicated list for my archive. Oh, I forgot to turn the filter off again. I guess that needs to go on the startup checklist. All right, so we want to get, or we're thinking that this is about what we want. What are the decisions we need? Implementation-wise, we can't really do this code until we have several things. Well, and then the other question is it an S3 or a maplog wrapper around a file system? Well, that also means extending file system with open methods. In addition to adding 2 new methods to the maplog interface. The only other way I could see doing it is to iterate the updated logs Okay. Maybe I was hitting the wrong key? I don't know. Iterate the updated logs, record which ones were known locally, separately somewhere, instead of having that method. That wouldn't change our object interface, it'd just be more code in all of these scripts. And I'd still have to do, still have to do this. So implementation-wise, that would be a has in all of them, a get in all of them, a file system and open, which we need to support the get. And no, file system open. No, that's not. You need that for the get. You need that to support the list. I think it's probably list that open operation, which means that it needs to have a reference to a file system and things as a backing store. Now, since we're going to call get on it, it could be something else that maybe only had the maplog object instead of the entire server logs maplog interface. So I'm still somewhat torn. Is there that's a different object, or if that's just something that the list log files support. Huh. If they did support it, we could just leave it. All right, so right now we've got maplog cache. Let's see, this is going to be at the logs level. We're saying path match log file.new cache path is a file.join. And that's really, I think, what we're going to be passing around. What do we... maplog.has, maplog.get. And what does that even mean? Also, have I in fact left this here? Almost sneeze. So the place we had trouble was you. Wait, no, you're maplog. So all the recent stuff has been fixed up. Oh, did it rewrite this entire thing? Or was this local? The processed is still 18. So that says that is still local. Copied it back, but didn't run anything. Or is it far enough along that we should catch up? That actually looks about the same. All right, that may have hit it. Yeah, so you still got zeros, I think. Well, there's you, which skips some stuff. So you were just doing that. Final, skipping the worst to its file rights. And it's going to say we don't have that method. All right, now we're on maplog cache. We start looking at that, and we need to know what can we do. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it could be dir. These files that exist make some degree of sense. dir.entries is a directory, so yeah, probably. The named file exists. All right, and this would effectively be a cache path. And we would want to know that. Join. So that's probably no. That process. I was trying to print stuff out here. Oh. Yeah, I was just sketching that code out. List log file doesn't support opening. And I've still got some other debugging going on here. Ah, is that from updated? No, it doesn't make updated file. Ah. I don't think that's important right now. Maybe that'll be important later. Okay, not. We should overlap on some of these. Or is that... no, we would have only seen that, right? Well, we were getting the log file path here. Maybe a variation of Unix? Hello? And that is the path, big server 2, What file path are we checking? Oop, did I do... Okay, it's local to the current directory. I could maybe see that. How are you doing today? I hope you slept better than I did. The actual files in here... 600. Oh no, I'll agree that's not there. But we have something that wants to reprocess. Oh, maybe I didn't put back my mixed files. Could have done with more sleep. I mean, this wasn't the file state from the last time when I left this off. Oh, actually... yeah, because I'm now iterating the entire list. Yeah, I was like... Woke up kind of early today, and then... I was up a little bit, but... then started feeling tired again. I mean, I've been having a lot of snuffy nose lately. Not sure what that's all about. That's about it. So this is actually going back and trying to fix stuff. So let's do nothing just to see it go through the list here. Okay, so it sees about as many of those as we would expect it to. No. Now. And this one's a little bit awkward. And also I want to update my files if I go to the server. Oh yeah, the question here was, do I keep the parsed contents? If I did instead path list, then what would we do? Local contents. That wouldn't necessarily be a variable. Oh, I'm going to need the path and the date. Well, if I've only got two things. And this is going to be a... if it exists, else... It's going to go as a hash. Do I want to restore cache? I guess I would store cache pass. That's what I'm going to keep referencing here. There need to be a map. Then this... Okay, this is where we would actually be doing a fetch. No, because that will do the fetch. So the files I'm working with are not current to the published files right now. Oh, and this is path. This is going to be cache path. I think this has already been done. That's already been done. That will still work for a hash. What do I do with you? Okay, so that's everything's false right now. Turn off that so we don't have to incorporate it. Do I even have... I didn't even use that here. I don't also have the stuff set up for this. Where is... Oop, no, actually not you. Is that an env thing? Database URL. No. Actually, that's probably the default parameter, huh? Okay, yeah, public data. And then no method has, so we're not actually even testing if it iterates properly, although... Yeah, because that was down below there. This is just going to be this path list, so it fetches it if need be. So there's probably a hash method that's appropriate there. Empty equal include. Has key and member. Our alias is 4, which seems to say this is like the base level version of it. All right, let's see. We're going to need to swing back to that in a little bit. So that gets us has. Epilogue list. We're not actually going to call this just yet. No. You just call it files. So that should keep that up to interface. Epilogue cache, and then we actually won't need get on the. I'm telling you, we don't need these interfaces on there because we're not using them, but it's good to have that all set up. All right, so we figured that out. Now, cache path cache. So you should be good. I'm not testing that yet. And we think if this will just be a no-op. Okay, maplog cache, maplog list. And you support that on server list. Let's see. So we've got the path there. The date is what we get from path list. Okay. And for completeness, that's files. Oh, and then each just goes through that. So actually, these are kind of objects. Files.value, sort by path, each to the block. So this is just that lookup. All right, maplog has, maplog get. To support this, we need to have that. There's going to be a map log list that we're going to be running into now. Doesn't support opening, which means this thing needs to have a reference to the file system, and then it will call an operation that doesn't exist on file system. To do it in here. Okay, you already have a file system, so if we just assume that one for now, does that have to get passed down anywhere? Yes, it does. From source. This doesn't necessarily do anything with contents, so we still, even though we hope to never actually load these, and then it would kind of be up to file system to deal with the string IO stuff. All right, so we're on the cache. I think we're not doing anything there. We've successfully gotten an object. If we try to do something with it, this is where we're going to just go, I don't know why Neil hasn't open. That also wasn't the correct error. I must have typoed something. That's your file system. File system. File system. Oh, and technically it's a file system group that just happens to only have one entry. Why is it a well, maybe there's a global open method, but it's private, so you can call it in the base context, but not from things like this. That's doing a return if to find the first one that can successfully read. And by passing the block down, we get the file handle that we would have gotten from that. Does open also take a block? It does if I want it to. This needs to operate similar to these things. Oh, I need to know. So if this is able to return something at all. Something like that. Which would then cause it to fail at the next step down. Wrong number of arguments. Given 0, expected 1. Oh, did I treat file system as a... File system, yeah, file system dot open what? There's path, right? For method open call for file system local. So it's going to be a lot like read, because this is only going to support reading. We do a file exists check. A file open into the block and return true. Let's see. If we end up writing anything, I can just copy my files back. Gets called for array. Maybe this is not a handle? This is at maplog file. Which way is this stack trace going? Tile placement log, map process. Probably where it tried to get the handle. For the map log list, we hit this one. It wanted to reprocess. I'm not seeing any evidence that this got called. Okay. Private method gets. So does the file not exist then? And it should exist. It's not able to find that. Oh, this is where somewhere in here we need an intermediate file path. Which is going to be another argument that has to go all the way down. Hmm. I thought there were two extra arguments to this. Yeah, I guess it's an extra argument. Where we store the list, where the list is, and in order to support the get, and I could, yeah, it would be irregular if we needed the get operation on this. Public map change data? Public map change data. No. If I do a proper file join on this, then I guess it won't matter if it has slashes or not. Well, anything based on this would have to have all of those arguments passed down to be able to do an effective file operation. And just adding a lot of stuff to this. Did I miss one? Yes. Now, this is where the argument list starts to get pretty nasty. So I just feel like I'm overloading stuff on here. And from source. Maybe this could have been a little bit more concise if it was a, well, if it was an S3 base, that'd need bucket and path. So I don't know if that would be any better. Well, file.join actually makes sense if it might be a URL. I don't know if I do anything else that's like above the file system level like that. As far as path manipulation. In which case, you might need a separator. File system group. Yes. We don't do that. We do that. Okay, it's going to write some stuff. It's not going to actually do a whole lot. File system local. This would be the archive. So an online... this is the file system for everything. I guess I could disable writes. That would make it not dangerous. Alright, so response.body. You need to be a file open. Yeah. So that was doing a true false. You're just brand new. String IO? String IO. That could have been a return value there. I'm pretty sure that would be the response was file not found. So that would allow you to lead them. We've already got most of them, or to read them. We've already got most of them up there. And that will keep us from updating any of the state on the bucket. Do I even have that stuff set up, though? I've done that at times. That's going to read a bunch of different files, but and possibly a bunch of different file timestamps. Oh, so that's going to be like all of our state. Versus my local file list. Fortunately, I can't write anything. String IO into string. Oh, did I neglect to rename the method? Statement not reached. Yes. And there's our string IO into string again. String IO into string. All right, so what's the top, what's the bottom? There's map process. That's the loop it's in? That's probably top level. File system group, file system group, file system group. Open each, block in open, open. Is that not how you set up a string IO for a fake handle? Oh, he must be library? Stringio.new. Stringio.new. You yielded the... Oh, it's response... Oh, you know what? Was read a handle? In which case response.body would be a... What are you? No, it's already a string IO. I guess just to make that clearer. All right, it seems to be reading okay. Oh, did I? No, that yielded. Maybe it's still processing? Yep, okay. Oh. Only fixed up one little thing and then skipped a few. Huh. That may have just been a file date drift. Maybe the progress bar thing is like, yep, nothing happened. No need to put anything out. All right, that seems to be pretty okay. All right, we got file system open, which we did list that open by way of doing that. So we did local, we did did fake. I don't know if I did do this on servers, it would sort of be, well, That would sort of make that a new place for my own little cache. Or if I used my master cache, that would just go through the entire thing. It would copy anything that wasn't there. So that's not currently up to date. I suppose if we do run that, we should see all the zeros go out of the intermediate, the final placement log. So I know I ran it a little bit earlier, but I think I stopped it partway through. Oh, I turned off checkpointing of that list. That means they're always going to show up as updated and maybe not copied over. No, that's not showing as updated file. This is fixing all the zeros. Only in that log. My local copy is okay. The online one might not be. All right. That seems to be pretty fine. And this is only my little local script. So under normal processing, we would want to do that. All right, are there any partial things we're doing here? Data server, data server. No, not data server. This is still library. Okay. You got an open method. You got an open method. You got an open method. You got two methods. You got a whole bunch of arguments. No. So that is that entire hunk. That has to do with fixing the base times, which we're kind of doing that now. Although I think to actually roll all of the history forward, I'm actually going to need to essentially kind of remove everything from this point from the file, so we'll just reprocess it. That was for debugging. That is still for debugging. That was kind of temporary for debugging. That is going to be an actual change. No. Okay, so those are all the days that transpired before we got the list fixed. But at this point, we might have it being based on the bad history. So I'm not sure that it's going to be correct there. Or maybe on no history. So in theory, we can do that because we did all of our file systems. We've pretty much done that. And we still have to do the timestamp fix-up task. And then there's the force reprocess of that. So those two things are still on there. So there's the add the task, and we also have to update the which it's been enough stuff that it's not quite as easy of a switch over now. All right, and you. All right, so the server, we were testing server. I guess if I didn't have that before, I don't really need it now. I guess for local processing, I don't necessarily need to separate those. I might need to go back and test it. Let's see. So you're going to be new. You're going to be changed. You're going to be new. And then that was just picked up along the way. And then there's what are we doing here? Oh, I don't want to that hunk. Okay. So you are new. You are new. We aren't doing that normally. Normally we would be doing that. And I guess we want to maintain our local list. And then those would go in like that. So in theory, all of that's going to be all correct. What final placements? Are we done with you? I guess I'm still going to be testing my other tasks. And I am no longer have that open. Now, let's see. There's you. And disabled rights, if I'm testing that locally, at some point we do have to catch up with our processing. So this is what? This is iterating based on our file list and using archive for data corrections. Now, one complication I have is that I've got that's on a branch, and when I start to go over to processing the other task, that is going to be based on master. But this should be getting pretty close now. And then we just had a line in there, which I think we should probably still see that happening. I'll just make some temporary stuff. Well, I've got to run the normal one at some point. I will keep my local copy. No, not you. Data server, public. Actually, a better test would be to update the live ones and then test the task on that. So that would give me was essentially that mixed set up. All right, so at worst, I should be able to reset this and just rerun things. Well, I guess I haven't done this exact combination of things before. Okay, I stopped printing out every file name, so it saw that as a new file. All right, so that's a bunch of stuff. Data server. Oop. Already had to open somewhere. Oh, right, because I was looking up env at one point. All right, so this is going to be the map logs. So the timestamp update is might be a little bit awkward. And that potentially needs to be in both environments, which is a little bit annoying. Yeah. Or is this a separate task group? I mean, it is related to map logs. What do we call it? Timestamp fix up. I suppose for testing purposes, you might need to have the kind of map fake thing going on. And that's a completely different method. All right, load cache, fetch. And the set of layers here is what worries about making this a completely separate loop. As we go from the master to the servers. File system, collection. So load collection is a thing that's common here. So this would be like just timestamp fix up. All right, so load collection. I don't know if I can really share anything here. So that's map logs, would go there. All right, we don't need object data. Import server, load server. We don't need objects. And is this like everything else? Yeah, that's everything else. All right, so this circuit server is going to be there, server ID. I don't know that I need those. Oh, no, placement path I'm sort of using. Map log path I probably don't need. Well, no, I might be updating your timestamps as well. Actually, I do kind of need these side by side. And that's methods on these things. So there's that. Oh, and I was moving my checkpoint down the end of the loop. Oop. Does that not? Oh, okay. It's sort of an end. Oh, and you need all of your arguments in both of these. I guess it doesn't technically need it there. All right, step one. Final placements, map log, manual resets. Oh, yeah, these aren't in the same window. Manual resets, part of seed determination, which we're using context there. I don't think we need that. Oh, here's an interesting problem. Do I even mess with map log list here? I think I load it, but maybe don't update it. Oh. What is objects? Is it just like a hash? Object data. Read object size length. Oh, maplog uses it too. Well, maybe for parity we should do this the same level. Seeds. And context, which only gets used in you. All right. This is just going to go over list. So we don't need to deal with you. Don't need to deal with you. Wait, you're the wrong loop. Alright, so don't need that list. Yeah, that's why I inlined it before, because it's a lot of repeated stuff. Also, our list needs more arguments. No. Map log list. Capital list. I don't know that that directory is really variable at this point. And then the rest of the path stuff, or argument passing, was done below that level. So that's where you're being used as an actual list. And while I'm thinking of it, there's you, and let's see. File swapping. Different window. Let's see. Path. That stuff still has references to it. So using cache path there doesn't really make a lot of difference. And then you do update files. Oh, did I calculate updated files? I may have completely rewritten that. Yeah. And did I remove the list point from the other one? Oh, that's really not what you're here for. Oh. I had a thing for that. Yeah, I had parameterized other stuff there. Not change data. I did have reference to this. We're still doing the join character. All right, we should be able to run this locally. We should be able to get something approximating the online condition. Let's see, what is that going to look like? Are you done? You seem to be done. All right, you've got data, you've got less data. You're caught up. Not seeing our zeros. New folder. We're probably good now, but we're messing with stuff. Okay. So Live has taken into account some of this stuff. The timestamp fix-up may be a little bit weird here. And I'm probably going to want your, well, file list is going to be awkward because you actually are looking at the live list. So maybe you need to hit the live list for a little bit. Or maybe the timestamp fix up will take care of that. Alright, this is... Oh. It's like, here's my list, but it's also going to complain if it wants to overwrite them. Oh, there's... I'm sure there's a flag for that. We need... Aid spans. Hopefully I won't have to touch most of these. We're going to need... that I should make sure... I think I'm up to date. Make sure we're going to be up to date with that stuff. Okay, no new files. Might have slightly different file dates than the online stuff. Public data, public map change. So you're currently looking like... Huh. Yeah, so actually map fake would be a better simulation for this. So you're up to 210377. And let's see, we're missing 778. Now, do I need... Well, it'd be a closer simulation. Your paths... plus map. So I'm going to identify the cache, but we still assume that path, which actually makes the... Possibly because I use that for life logs as well. For now, it's a better simulation. Arguably, this should work in both cases, but I don't currently have anything to like maintain a fake, so I'm not sure that's a long-term thing. Let's see. In order to run this, I either have to mess with Bundler or just call this as good. I don't actually need to, I don't think I need to actually reprocess anything locally. We fetched some files. Got our live files. We got copies of this local stuff. So we should have a state similar to that. And initially... we should just be doing the fix-up. It isn't going to touch most things. Let's see, that's still using end variables. I'm going to need a task for you, though. Because 4 minutes how we pass all our end variables. No. Oh, and these things always start the environment. So right now, unless I do something to investigate, we need to have a DB running. Right, that's a dev task. Whether or not we use the DB for this task. Okay, that's pretty much what we expected. I don't actually need to write anything out right now. Actually, arguably it should be in a relatively caught up state. You shouldn't have anything to do. I could, actually. Building on what we did earlier, I could just disable writes. And that is simply because we're actually returning a file handle. That will only test operation. It won't test if the files got written out correctly, because we're not writing any files. Okay, updated file. 16029. Oh, that would be updated file. So, did we not process something on the server? Oh, it might be file timestamp. No, timestamp fixed up what it should have done that. But I didn't save out the checkpoint list, so there might be something to that. Wait. This is why we test things. See, you're not getting the list, you are getting the log file. Which are you changing? You're changing processed. So yeah, the writes go real fast, not like you're writing anything. So this is probably the timestamps of the incremental fake archive. Well, I would think that if I save this out without copying the file, then we've got a problem. I only had one updated file, though. What does that mean? That processing failed yesterday. Those were not the files I expected to get fixed up. Unless we updated the index values, but not the... We wouldn't have updated the actual files? All right, I'm probably gonna have to go in and disable the actual file rights, but leave it so it outputs index information. So I can see whether we've actually fixed things up. It actually, for my files from the other day, it seems like it actually went back and did some of the older entries. I can look if we had the zeros in the latest copies. Yeah. Or did it start at 1, 2? But then these are okay, and we've been reprocessed. Well, it's like we should do those. I don't know that it would, though. One 159. Yeah, so that's bad, that's bad. Self as base seems a little weird, though. Or is that actually slightly different? Start end. 3, 3, 1, 3, 3. Start 3, 3, 1, 3, 3. Right, so that would have been the end time of the last one. All right. We didn't write that out. That didn't seem like what I expected. We had one updated file just because of probably file fetch times. We did not go back and reprocess all those zeros. No, map log. Yeah. Why didn't you get fixed up here? Did I have to write out an intermediate file for it to pick that up? Did I forget to update the list of files to update in here? That I did. All right, so that was some other... That was like some other timestamp drift issues. Which we're going to have all of that again. It's not writing anything else. We can stop once we see it kind of... Okay, so it's doing the files I expected it to do now. We might yet have... Okay, so now... Why are you redoing those? Yeah, we're here. And I went and completely removed that one thing that printed out all of my "why are we doing this" statements. Oh, surely we're done with that. And sometimes it just doesn't start. Log. Oh. And we did skip over a few entries. Okay, so that was an actual updated file, which... How are we doing the timestamps? Actually, oh, you only did list. You didn't do, you use logs at all? I didn't even bother to update it because it's like, well, we'll get that eventually. We went through and updated to make sure that these things were at least up to their... Right, and then since this doesn't include the logs, it's not going to have those updated timestamps. Like, more code to copy. List, update from. We don't need to track the updated files here. We just want the updated timestamps, which means... It was the local file system. We want to write this. We're not checkpointing that, but we do need to write out the other ones. Now, I think my real problem is, in fact, with the saved dates. I don't think it'll terribly hurt anything to use those. All right, what were we doing with you? We were checking while you were updating all of those. This might not necessarily do anything then. Okay, we had one updated file. A few updated files? Did I not properly fetch something? No, I have newer file timestamps on my files. But we kind of incorporated that earlier, so it's not a big deal. That's just kind of do a duplicate copy to the archive. And then we fixed that. And we'll copy those again once it gets there. Then that's the point where we expect it to break or to update things. All right. I don't really need to write out all the files again. My local copy should be good. I would like to make sure that the sort of the index is good. There's really no reason it should be processing the other map logs at this point. Just in case. Alright, so it's going to do a lot of crunching as it attempts to go through this process. It's doing roughly what we want. Oh, and this is just the correction. Actually, no, everything, yeah, before here should be fine. It's the things after this that we might want to edit and reprocess. Because it may have done them on top of a... either on top of nothing. These are on top of nothing. The point where we restored might have been based on one of these, which had been based on nothing. So other things we want to do. Since online has been updating its file list all along, there's something more appropriate for this. Ish. Let's see. There's going to be a sync update of big server 2 to Public map change data. I think I can actually do a query and complete that. Maybe not. Let's see, and it wants, let's see, I want to sync that folder. There's a child of there. I presume it's just going through a big file list right now. Hopefully we didn't mess something up and try to copy the entire list. Okay. Yeah, those look like recent files. 2 of 7. Well, okay, so it's been a week since I did this. And you got through your stuff. Now we need to check. So map 17, processed key place. Oop, I already had it open. Okay, so that fixes up the zeros. I guess since they need to be redone, I could just clear out the everything back to that point. All right, data server. Anything else? That was different. That was something else. Data server. Might be messing with you a little bit. Okay, I haven't touched anything else there. I'm gonna test. Oh, we don't have the remote timestamp fix up. Yep. Which, okay, so apparently that's all you need. Oh, do you just assume your input directory? Oh, I don't know if that I want to commit this. As much as it's a little bit more accurate. Yeah, that's only a bucket. I don't think you really had the dir anyway. So fetch. Okay, so yes, you have a parameter list thing. Oh, I can't just call it timestamp fixup. That's what I called my little helper method. So that's only going to be going over. It's going to be incorporating those possibly updated dates. Right, because that's going to iterate the entire list and update that stuff. Which almost doesn't need the collection. Just, man, we had some trouble with that on the local one. Naming is hard. No, actually, it's rake. I mean, that's sort of fine. All right, so that's just that. That was for testing. I don't know why. It decided to move that line entirely down. Oh, I still got a false in here, don't I? Blogs. Oh, maybe that's what confused it. Okay. The two if trues. Move our checkpoint down. Add our tasks. All right, so for updating this, I'm got to be mindful of when tasks are going on, so we can try and get all this stuff done between any other runs that are going on. Let's see. Manage and use, map log, archive. Well, I guess manage is a lot for copying to it, but maintain. Not sure what's going to show up here. that should be fine. Now, the question is, what time is it? This site gotten a little spammers. They tried to turn it into a business, but let's see. So UTC 4:47 p.m. Can't really sort. I think any task will get in our way. Okay, so we've just done a monument update. Next would be 9 p.m., which is pretty much the actual update. So we've actually got a pretty good window to work here. Okay, we added the task. I think I've been checking this in, but updated the processing. Forced reprocess all sense. That can be done as a separate step. Let it update all the missing ones. And I guess it'll act. We've got the timestamp fix up. I guess it would actually be easier to download that file, do everything, the zeros and cents, and then they're all going to get reprocessed anyway. So that will take a little bit of time. Yep, actually done. All right, so we need Arco run Rails. Uh-oh. Did I not hit save on something? Did I put this onto a branch? No. Oh, yeah, that one was not line. This is why the name drift can be annoying. I actually wondered about that. It's like, oh, well, this is the one you just normally use, even though it's kind of a one-time thing. They don't really put any feedback about what step it's on in that. And it is going through all of them. I don't think it has to do a whole lot there. Okay. Then I left the console open. There. That's the one of interest. Right. Don't have any of those open. Oop. Wasn't this like a 008 or something? It's a 1.4. That might be the time processed. Okay, so a different 008. So this is the first one that has no information here. Oh, I haven't been watching spans closely. This was the old one. Okay, I did not look to see if those got fixed up. This is just some basic data, so it's not, no reprocessing is needed. Okay, those look they got fixed up nicely. But this file needs to get reprocessed anyway. And then everything after it depends on those files or on those spans. Which is unfortunately a while. Took a little bit to get things fixed up. I don't know if I'll need to do a force on that. A sync might have done it too. Okay, so overwrite that. Now this might actually take a little while. What are we doing on time? Yeah, it's about lunchtime anyway. No, that was that one. All right, and there's going to be like a standard update task. Sometimes the jobs just die because I think that because I'm not really doing a whole lot here. I'm still technically on the semi-limited free. So I think they're running on pretty small scale little machines. And sometimes they just hit a processing limit or a memory limit or something. Or they're just constantly cycling the cloud infrastructure, I don't know. So that should see a whole bunch of missing key placements and reprocess all of that stuff up through the current time. Now those files, I probably have like a 24-hour cache on them, so you wouldn't necessarily see the results on the map immediately, if you'd even been looking back at the area where there was problems. But it seems to have begun. Let's see, so that was... That's running in that console now. I believe that's it for now. You're just going to be crunching away. I haven't even gotten to writing out the first set of files yet. But that, well, I have to watch it. Make sure everything works out okay. But that, be finally taking care of that. I've not really been paying attention. Yeah, still no movement on the actual map banding change. I might try to do a simulation of that, at the risk of having to rewrite it once we see Jason's version, but could be an interesting little project. But that's it for now. Oh, our monthly little reset here. Can I do like maybe you, and then go to there, and then there. Let's see, I think that did not work to do in there. I should take care of that offline. Let's see. What else do we got going on? Not a whole lot of coding going on. I see Honest working on some, I think UE is Unreal Engine game dev. Also says C++, I might be doing some coding extension stuff. If looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me, and goodbye and until next time.